I think, what would have saved Enterprise? If they had trimmed it slightly, but let Reed keep the goatee.
Oh, I hated it. It was so fake.
Well, it was too shrubby.
It was real fake looking.
But, like, I feel like if they let him grow a real one, it maybe would have worked.
He probably can't. He's an Englishman. He can't grow a real one.
Wow.
He can grow a massive handlebar mustache, though.
Ugh, gross.
So, interestingly, in old Doctor Who, there was this recurring character, the Brigadier.
Oh, yeah.
Who, Nicholas Courtney, who could grow a mustache, but he felt it wasn't strong enough. So he actually wore a fake mustache.
How can anyone believe my upper lip is stiff with a mustache like this?
Yeah. So what's funny is when they did their, the Doctor winds up in the Mirror Universe episode, opposite of many Mirror Universes, by which I mean Star Trek, the Brigadier didn't have a mustache. They took the facial hair off to prove he was evil.
Yes. And gave him an eye patch, didn't they? No,
maybe.
Joe had an eye patch?
No,
Somebody had an eye patch.
I think it maybe was the Brigadier.
Didn't Joe also have it? No, Mel. Not Joe. I always mix them up. Didn't Mel have an eye patch?
Mel was much later. Mel was the 6th Doctor.
What is happening?
Smell.
Not Mel, then.
Silence!
Bit to do. I got one. Okay.
Jesus Christ! It's gonna be one of the same voices we've heard 15 times.
Of course.
Well, at least he's honest.
Of course, there, little lassie. We're going western this week.
Okay, good. That's fine.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw! Welcome to a star to by. Star to steer by. That's what I meant to say. Yeehaw!
And how many head of steer is that?
That's gonna be.
Hey, you got it.
Thank you.
We're on.
Oh,
I don't fucking know.
346.
Blue horn number 346.
That's a lot of blue horn.
A lot of blue horn.
I mean, yeehaw.
Yeah, and we're gonna rustle us up a couple episodes of Star Trek: The Enterprise with Captain Jonathan Archer and the friends. But before that, I'll introduce myself. I'm your sheriff, Jake.
I love the fucking perfect for radio thumbs hooked into your,
non-existent
your
overalls.
Sheriff.
I say.
Oh no.
Who else do we have here?
The man with no name, except I have a name. Chris.
It's Deputy Ames.
Fuck, I was gonna be the deputy.
You can be I can be the school marm.
No, it's too late.
You're the school marm.
Skag. Wow, your children are fucked. This is Skag Caitlin. That's right. Not the first time I've been called a skag. Not true.
Anyway, today we're fixing to bring to you a couple episodes of Enterprise. We're going to talk about Twilight. That's the time right before it gets dark. On the plains, we would rustle us up a bowl of beans in a can, throw them over the fire, and we'd eat them.
Set them on fire.
That Twilight.
Ain't Twilight that movie about them sparkling vampires?
Well, Missy.
Captain.
They sure are. They didn't have beans in that movie, as far as I know. But we have beans out west. And you know what else we have out west? Stars. Stars to steer her by. In fact, one in particular, the North Star.
To steer her by.
Made famous by its ability to steer things by it. And that also happens to be the next episode of Star Trek Enterprise that we'll talk about. But first, in Twilight, let me get my colleague over here to use his voice to talk about this episode because my voice is getting a little raspy here. Would you mind talking about Twilight? Why, sure.
Oh no!
I don't know why I also have a voice. I don't know. It just did. But in fact, actually, I'm just gonna have this guy do it. Would you mind? Yeah, okay, I got it covered. All right, Twilight, here we go.
Well, I didn't realize that because of Disney losing copyright that we'd have Steamboat Willie right here on the podcast.
Very crowded at this table today.
It sure is. We have so many guest stars. But anyway, in Twilight, this is episode 8 of season 3. It aired on November the 5th, Guy Fawkes Day.
Meow.
2003. Trying to think of what I would have been doing on Guy Fawkes Day 2003. I have no memory of the day. It was directed by our old friend Robbie McNeil.
I noticed that.
Tom Paris himself.
We like him.
But anyway, what happens? Well, we open in very exciting fashion.
Oh yeah.
A giant
Good teaser for a
the
change.
Death Star comes out of warp right at Alderaan, blows that fucker up, and Archer and everybody's just there to see it. T'Pol's wearing a Starfleet uniform
Looking
inexplicably, looking good. And then the Earth gets blowed up.
Whoopsie.
But then we fast forward 12 years, I believe it was, and now we're in Archer's looking a little old, a little weathered. You get the grays a showing.
Wow, two different reads, because I was thinking, ooh, Archer's looking good.
Well, but he's older. He's seasoned.
Delicious.
But he doesn't know it because he looks in the mirror. He's like, why am I so old? And then he's wandering around this house that he's unfamiliar with, and he walks in the kitchen, and there's a hottie at the stove. And what? It's T'Pol. She's grown her hair out and is now his live-in nurse or something. And she's like, oh, hi, Jonathan. And he's like, T'Pol, what the fuck? And she's like, well, let me explain it all to you like I do every day.
Put on the recording. Watch this.
I was gonna say, here's the film
50
First Dates by
yeah.
Adam Sandler.
See,
it's kind of like that.
I was gonna go with Memento, and just like he's got tattoos all over himself. But yeah, so basically what T'Pol explains to him is that 12 years prior, they were all hanging out on the Enterprise, and they got into one of those anomaly situations that they get from time to time, and it knocked T'Pol on her ass, and she got leveled under a heavy thing. But then Archer threw himself in the way of the anomaly and took the brunt of it, saving T'Pol. But in the process, acquired some sort of brain parasite that renders his long-term memory completely inoperable. So for the last 12 years, he's only had a working memory of a few hours. And, as a result, he got relieved of command, and T'Pol was made the captain of Enterprise, and because she's not evidently competent, they were unable to stop the Xindi, which led to the destruction of Earth.
Not nearly racist enough.
And then the Xindi proceeded, they hadn't had enough just blowing up Earth, so they went around and blew up every Earth or human-related thing, just to make sure.
All those parallel Earths from TOS.
Yeah. So the Xindi have been going throughout the galaxy trying to hunt down every last human, and they have, at this time, taken refuge on Ceti Alpha 5! Which is where the last remaining human settlement is, and there's only a few thousand of them left. And Archer's like, oh my fucking lord. And she's like, well, this is a very special day because Enterprise is coming and we're going to get to see all our old friends.
Except Mayweather, who died without a line.
Yeah, Mayweather, who died barely even noticeably.
No one acknowledges it either.
They didn't even let him go, ah! Like he dies silently.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Did that actually happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I missed that.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
Isn't it?
But yeah, so they go
Poor
back to
actor.
Enterprise, and Archer's meeting everybody. He's like, oh, hey, Trip, how you doing? It's good to see you. You're the captain now. And
Captain.
Reed, you're looking fine. You got that beard. And no, you're a captain too. You're gonna be the captain of some ship. Great. Oh, Hoshi's here. Nice. Good to see you. No, not even asking about Mayweather because why would he? And but then it turns out that the reason he's here is because Phlox has been spending the last decade trying to perfect a treatment for Archer's brain, and what he's come up with is like blasting his brain with warp drive energy, and that evidently kills the parasites. So they're all set up to do this thing. They try it, and it works, but it's going to take a few treatments. Meanwhile, Enterprise is like, there's a ship nearby that's just out of range. We should go check it out. And they get there, and it's Worf's friend from that episode where he found the Romulans, the Klingons that were in the Romulan prison.
It's a different Uridian, but okay.
Same deal. These guys are sketchy. So you find, this Uridian man who's like, I was just hanging out in this sun's corona for fun. And they're like, bitch, please, we don't buy that for a second. He's like, listen, they don't want you, they just want the Denobulan. They were, oh my god, no, he's a fucking spy for the Xindi, and now they've learned the location of the human settlement.
Whoopsie.
And and sure enough, they show up,
We've had a good run.
the Xindis, and they're like,
Well, we've had a run, certainly.
Meh.
and they just start fucking shit up. There's a big battle, and throughout the battle, Archer's like, I gotta get to the bridge, and they're like, T'Pol's like, you're in no position to do this.
Also, the bridge just exploded.
And then, like, yeah, they're about to walk on the bridge, and then it literally gets blowed up, and everyone dies. So as the ship is going down with the ship, Archer and T'Pol and Phlox are like, we're going to make one last attempt to do this thing, because Phlox figured out that because when he blasted the parasites, not only did it blast them in the present, it blasted them in the past as well.
Are they the wormhole aliens?
There's some kind of
Let's
aliens.
go with yes.
Those dicks.
So yeah, at any rate, these parasites transcend time. So Phlox has speculated that if he can wipe out all of the parasites, it will remove them from. It would mean that they would never have existed, and history would play out differently. And they're trying to do this, but the machine that he was using broke, and then Archer's like, "Listen, what if we just blow up the ship?" And Phlox is like, "That could work."
Don't you steal the Janeway maneuver, you prick.
Yeah. So so Archer, the Xindi board the ship for some reason. I don't know why they just blow it up, but they boarded the ship.
That's a good point.
And they take out Phlox, of course, and they take out T'Pol, and they take out Archer, but in his last dying thing, manages to activate the self-destruct that he invented just now. And and then boom, everything blows up, and we reset. We're back to the moment of after the anomaly, and he was just mildly injured. And then we have a goofy scene where he has T'Pol do a bunch of menial tasks for no reason that he could have very easily done himself. Like,
Get me
a pillow.
Get me that pillow from 2 feet away.
Turn the lights down.
Give me a
bitch.
sandwich.
Oh.
Ouch.
I mean, that was the tone of it, let's be honest.
Well, their relationship did evolve.
So, I liked this episode when it was called The Visitor / Year of Hell.
And little Yesterday's Enterprise.
Tiny bit.
That's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Kind of a lot.
Like, again,
I mean, it's still clever. I still give them credit.
It's fine, but again, it's one of those where it's like, on the Enterprise scale, it's fine, but again, it's like, we've seen this better. Also, it would have been really funny if they were like, well, wait a minute now. We don't have to go through this whole elaborate scheme since, let's just explode his head!
Yes.
Well, it sounded like that was a theoretical thing.
True.
It was only done as sort of like the, last-ditch effort.
Here's where I'm confused.
Go ahead.
So Phlox realizes that if you remove some of the parasites, then they've always been removed and they never existed at all. How did he learn that if they've now never existed at all? Because then at the very end, when everything flips, no one has memories of this, and we go back in time to when none of them existed at all. Like you kind of have to ignore that a little bit, because if it did work the way Phlox thought it would, then he wouldn't actually see results, right?
Yeah.
Phlox is an Elorian. That's the answer.
Okay.
See, I was about to say it's Back to the Future rules, where changes made in the past take time to get to the present.
Yes, it's slowly fading out the photograph.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Chris. I mean, this felt very Visitor-like to me with the
hard reset.
With the hard reset, but also just the way the way they tell the story, where it's sort of told in flashback form, and then just without the emotional impact.
Exactly,
of the Visitor, right? Like the Visitor is good because of the Jake and Sisko relationship, and Jake has to ultimately sacrifice himself in the end to save Sisko. Yeah, it's personal, and it's like an emotional experience viewing it. But I didn't feel shit watching this.
Well, yeah. In the Visitor, it's personal because it's those two characters and their love. With this one, it's the personal aspect of it is Earth has been destroyed, and you watch Archer kind of accept that a little bit. But it's such a huge loss that you cannot fathom how big this is.
Well, yeah, it's like destroying the Earth, and then also let's pick off every other human.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not complaining. I think this is a fine episode.
Very well acted too.
Well acted, yeah. The acting, even Bakula, I thought did a really good job.
Oh yeah, I agree.
He mostly did, but there were 2 moments that stuck out to me actually.
Gasp!
When the Earth is kerploded, he less looked like I'm horrified and more I've just been running for a while and am out of breath.
I mean, there's a little confusion, like how did we get here?
Yeah, that's it.
How did we get here?
But then also when he finds out there's only 6,500 humans left or whatever, he runs out of their little hut in a very strange... I think he's supposed to be I'm overwhelmed with emotion, but it's more like, I can't find my balance. Aside from that, yes. But it's just funny you said that, because I remember while watching, it's like, oh, normally he's fine, but what happened here?
I mean, to be fair, if the humans would have survived on SETI Alpha 5...
Oh, yeah, they were fucked.
They were fucked,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that sun was going nova or whatever happened. Or the
Didn't it get hit
SETI
by,
Alpha
like, a-
something would be exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Alpha 6 explodes and knocks
SETI
5
Alpha
off its
5,
axis.
yeah, so-
This is SETI Alpha 5!
Yeah,
God damn.
writer Mike Sussman said he chose to make it SETI Alpha 5 as a quote-unquote cruel joke, because, audience members will know, like, oh, they're doomed no matter what.
Yeah, I did think that. You know why he was running funny? Is because Paris couldn't give him anything to, like, throw his body over in a physics-defying way. So he was just like, if you could run out the door with the affect of a 16-year-old girl leaving the dinner table after her mom has told her no about, like, piercing her asshole or something.
That's right, because the jumping over a
Yep.
railing scene was another McNeil director.
It was.
I'm just
Oh,
saying,
wow.
he needs to go back to school and do some, like, movement learning.
Although Phlox did a good railing jump this episode
Railing kill.
when he died.
Yeah, railing kills all around this week.
Yeah.
Ooh, guys, I have terrible news. I really liked Phlox in this episode.
Yeah, Phlox
Was
is
it
Bound
long
to happen
hair?
eventually.
Yeah.
No, I
I
don't
think-
think it
I
was.
think
No, he
every-
looked greasier than usual, for fuck's sake.
everybody who was in this, who was given a line in this episode.
Anyone who wasn't
did well.
Mayweather.
Yeah. Poor that actor though.
What's his
man.
actual name?
Anthony Montgomery.
I feel like we need to say his name at the beginning of every episode of this show until we're done with Enterprise, because he just gets fucked left and right. And he's not in the next episode either, is he?
I don't think.
Did he finally just
I don't
quit?
think he is, because we never really... We don't see Hoshi either, I don't think. Oh, no, we do. Hoshi reads over a transcript.
Yeah,
or
she
something,
does.
and it's
She
like,
does.
yes,
Oh,
this
I'm
is the
working on
ancient West,
translating
but
it.
we'll get there. in a
The
minute.
Ancient West.
I've said it
And Chris
before.
goes crazy and destroys everything.
Let
Like Archer.
people get time displaced in Star Trek all the time. Let Anthony Montgomery have a second shot. He can show up as a voice in Prodigy. He can show up in Strange New Worlds. Whatever.
Dude, yeah, he would be great in Prodigy.
But yeah, no, it was pretty
much to
funny that he shows up on screen for all of 2 seconds and gets blowed up.
And he doesn't even get to go, ugh!
Well, he did, but they cut it out. They were like, nah.
We can't pay you for a line this week.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tony.
Oh, the poor guy. Poor guy.
Yeah, I think my one kind of complaint I would have about this episode was trying to shoehorn in T'Pol has developed a crush on
Agreed.
Archer.
I was going to bring up the
Unnecessary.
same thing. Because it could easily be read, T'Pol has softened towards humans, T'Pol has gained this new affection towards Archer over the years as his caregiver thing. It doesn't have to be, like, underlaid with the, oh, you have feelings for him, don't you?
Men and women
Captain.
can't just be friends, though. It's TV rules. No, I agree. It's
Just
dumb.
cut those lines, and their relationship is actually very lovely.
Yeah.
Because watching, T'Pol says, oh yeah, I don't tell you the whole story every day, because that would fucking wreck my life. Some days I tell you the shorthand of it. Or sometimes I lie entirely just to see what's going to happen.
I don't know why she doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why are we here? We're just visiting. The Enterprise is in orbit. They'll be down tomorrow.
She doesn't feel like dealing with it, yeah.
Why do I look old? I
Disguise.
I wrote on your face in the night, and it says makeup.
You've always looked like that, John. You just didn't notice.
Yeah, actually, kind of fascinatingly, this script was originally pitched for Voyager, and it would have been Janeway in the Archer role and Chakotay in the T'Pol role, which I can emphatically see working as well. Like, that would probably also be a pretty decent episode.
Builds her a new tub every day.
Yeah.
Why are there so many tubs? Well, let me tell you the story. God, Janeway.
So basically, they just decided to not take out the romantic element from that.
Probably not. Yeah, that makes sense.
Although, again, they also have occasionally hinted, like, maybe they're into it. Like, they want that to happen so bad, and I do not know why.
With the Archer T'Pol, I don't need it and I don't want it.
Yeah, no, it's a terrible idea. Absolutely terrible.
Like, stop crushing on her. But have you seen that bum?
It's a great bum. I
I
mean, no.
Yes, I liked her in the Starfleet uniform. That's always nice
Yeah,
to
I
see.
think. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I wish they had kept that.
Put her in dignified
I liked
clothing.
it too, but it didn't fit well and it looked stupid.
They did very consciously suck in that waist like
Yeah.
as much as possible just to show off her figure. So
God
there is that.
God forbid she just get to wear a jumpsuit.
Yeah, gee, what else?
we get a Soval appearance. He shows up to.
That is one thing I could have done without, is like actually making explicit that apparently the Vulcans did actively hold back humanity, as opposed to just like I think it was better when it was just like the humans being impatient and the Vulcans being too patient and their personalities clashing.
See, I read that more as like Archer having rubbed off on T'Pol because
I was thinking that too.
Because that's exactly Archer's complaint, is that the Vulcans held us back and prevented us from reaching our potential.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
But like, and T'Pol would probably not agree with that now, in present day, but after 12 years of listening to Archer bitch and moan, she's like, yeah.
Also, you can tell she's really rejected Vulcanness because she grew her hair out.
Yeah.
Abandoned the haircut.
Yeah, she went full human.
Well, speaking of the haircut, so I guess the wig that they had on older Archer was one of the wigs they'd originally made for Soval.
Huh.
Which ends up making sense when you consider, like, oh, he's got a slightly Vulcan-y hairdo because T'Pol's been doing his hair all this time.
Doing his hair. I just imagine that, like, she just
bowl.
does, like, I was gonna say the 1990s bowl cut and just slaps a bowl on his head and goes, looking good, Mo. But I thought the gray suited him. I was into it.
It was fine.
Well, But I didn't think anybody else had been aged at all. Really.
Oh, yeah. Trip, they just put the little gray in the temples. It's like, okay, you did something.
Well, to be fair, though, have you seen him lately? Because he basically just looks the same.
He does. He looks great.
Well, it's also, like, when I was trying to remember this episode, I had thought it had been a lot more time than 12 years. I thought it was like 40 years later.
Oh, wow.
And like Archer
They'd have to recast. They wouldn't do that makeup.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that it's only 12 years means that, the younger people, so like Hoshi and Reed aren't going to look particularly older.
Oh.
Frozen in time, Chris. Frozen in time. But yeah, and Trip's a little older, I think.
Yeah.
But even he would not be like, in his early 40s, probably. I don't know how old he's supposed to be.
I have no idea, to be honest.
On the show. But I was assuming like late 20s, early 30s.
I did read that they filmed but then cut a scene with an older beagle to show that Porthos is still around.
Yeah, that's not realistic.
It might be in the future, okay? We don't know.
They cryo-froze that dog for a couple years.
Well, maybe, like, listen, if we're all living longer, maybe we find a way to make the dog food better and the dogs live longer.
Well, I mean, think about it. Realistically, I think we take better care of our pets now than we did previously, and it's not necessarily weird to see pets living longer than they used to.
Yeah, but dogs don't live very long.
It depends on the dog and the size of the dog.
Okay,
a small dog like a beagle could probably live to be, like, 15 or something. So if Porthos was really young... At the beginning of Enterprise.
Not a puppy at the beginning of Enterprise.
Okay, here's the thing. Genetic manipulation of humans is illegal, not our pets.
There you go.
Pets live for fucking ever now.
Every time we put Porthos through the transporter, it's the same age.
Yeah. What else happened? I thought the props for Phlox's brain blaster were very familiar. I think they were like, I feel like the pod itself might have been like also used as a stasis pod in other things.
Probably, yeah.
And like the thing that like clamped to Archer's head, I'm pretty sure that was used in the Manchurian Geordi episode.
Oh, maybe.
As part of his conditioning.
I'll admit I didn't pay super close attention to the props, so I didn't notice, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Let's see. Oh, there was something else I was thinking to mention. Oh, yeah, I like the little that they've upgraded Enterprise. Now it's got shields.
Yeah, from General Shran.
Oh, I did
the name drop.
That was a really good little Easter egg. Like that's how you do a little Easter egg. Lower decks writers take note.
Nope.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we're on SETI Alpha 5. Wink.
Yeah, that was. I didn't need it. I get why.
No, it wasn't really
detract.
bad. No, it didn't. I'm just being.
They never said SETI Alpha 5. Remember that name.
Yeah, like I think because that it was explicitly chosen because it's a doomed world and it's just kind of to fuck with the audience and isn't just a reference, I thought, I'll let them have it. Like, if it was some other planet we've heard of, but not one that we know is doomed, like...
Yeah, it would mean nothing to us.
Yeah, I can't think of anything, but yeah. But the fact that it's like, it's not just an Easter egg, it's also they're fucked.
Yeah.
Didn't they also name drop the Mutara
They
system?
did. That was unnecessary.
What was that in reference to?
Someone was in the area.
Oh,
The
okay.
what system?
The Mutara. That's where the nebula that they activated the Genesis device, where Khan gets blowed up.
Yeah, also in Star Trek 2. Like, that was over-egging the pudding.
It was.
Well, I mean, if we assume that the SETI Alpha system and the Mutara system are not too far apart, because, you know, Reliant was able to get there pretty quickly.
quick. Yeah, but it's still just like, it's like, you already got one. Calm down. Make up a new system.
Oh, and another little cut moment, Hoshi would have been bringing Archer some Vonnegut books, and then Archer would be like, I don't remember asking for these. She said, well, read them anyway. Read them 15 times because you're not going to remember. Which is a funny joke, because then you get the Slaughterhouse 5 reference.
Yep. But nope. They're like, nah, we don't need to give Hoshi more lines.
No. She already got a slightly different wig. That's all she gets.
Yep. And a line or two. But yeah, the blowing up of the bridge was pretty brutal.
Oh, yeah. Because you're like, oh, they're dead. They all just got spaced.
Big dead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No little, sensors probably wouldn't allow it, but I did squint and I didn't see any little people flying out, just debris.
Oh, speaking of little Easter eggs, what did you guys think of how Archer killed one of the Zindi?
Oh, yeah.
Was that an Easter egg?
Did you notice?
I
He
noticed.
stabbed one of them.
Yeah,
right?
I saw
Oh,
that.
But
he
with
did.
what?
Oh, right. Yes, that's right. That was interesting.
What did they stab him with?
He stabbed him with the statue of Zephram Cochrane. He's got a little statue. He's got like a little bronze statue of Zephram Cochrane in his room.
It's specifically the one that Geordi described. Like, it's a
Yeah,
miniature of the one
pointing up
Geordi
and,
told Cochrane exists, and that fries
And
Cochrane's brain.
It breaks during the scuffle, and then Archer picks it up and
Damn.
Cochrane's the Zindi.
Cochrane. You got Cochrane.
If this was a better show, I'd say, oh, it's them being symbolic about the mess that this whole season's message is. But nope, they just did that without realizing how fucking symbolic it was.
Oh, I felt bad. So, like, Reed was all proud and pleased that he'd been promoted to captain. By who, first of all? By
Trip.
Trip just promotes
Promotions all
All
around.
of his buddies.
and he was
You, Hoshi.
he was going to be the captain of the Intrepid,
Yep.
and then the Intrepid is the first ship to get destroyed during the battle.
I kind of wanted him to go, oh, damn it was mine.
Why is Starfleet racist against Asian Americans, man? They wouldn't promote fucking Harry Kim. They won't promote Hoshi? What the fuck?
Did they not promote her? They didn't actually say it. Oh.
They specifically said, like, is everyone's captain? She's like, not me, captain. I'm still here.
Well, yes, but I mean, is she at least not still an ensign at
Oh,
this
I
point?
don't
She
know.
was probably a lieutenant.
They
junior
banged her back
grade.
down to cadet.
God, man, they forget T'Pol forgets to tell Archer about Mayweather. She's like, oh, where's Mayweather? Everyone just goes quiet. T'Pol goes, fuck.
Yeah, I love Paul had a great little comment at some point where it's like, it's usually at this point in me telling you the story that you think that this is some elaborate ruse. One of Mayweather's classic pranks. But let me assure you, Captain, Mayweather is dead. It does make it all the more heartbreaking knowing that she has to tell him every day. Like, Jake and I just watched a video yesterday on, do you guys know who Henry Molaison is?
No.
Famously known as just HM for years and years and years until he died, but he was a medical marvel, essentially, who in, 1953 was suffering, from really bad epilepsy, 10 times a day epilepsy.
Oh.
And it was just destroying his life. He couldn't hold a job because he couldn't be alone.
Yeah.
And finally, a doctor in the field of brain shit
A neurologist?
brain shit. Effectively says, okay, if I remove all of these chunks of your brain,
oh my god,
it should help. And the guy's like, what have I got to lose? So they remove
big chunks of your brain. It sounds like
they removed the hippocampus before they really understood what the hippocampus did, and some other bits. And
what, were they just throwing it at a dartboard and deciding that way?
Well,
Was there any rhyme or reason?
They
to
knew
it?
a little bit what the hippocampus.
Yeah, they knew that removing parts of the hippocampus could treat epilepsy, but because this guy had particularly severe epilepsy, the doctor's like, oh, just take the whole thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
So the consequence was he developed, they call it anterograde amnesia, which is the inability to create new memories, new long-term memories, which means every couple of hours for him is fresh, and he only remembers like a little bit like before the surgery. And he lived to like 83 or so. God. So he only died recently in 2008.
Wow.
And then they finally, revealed to the public, like, his actual identity because, he's no longer around. But just, like, the studies they did on memory with him were fucking fascinating. Because, every day they come in, like, he doesn't remember anything new. But every so often he would, like, show, like, that he learned, like, muscle memory, effectively. Like, the most famous example is, like, they would have him trace inside like a diagram of a star through a mirror, something that's tricky to do because your brain does not necessarily like adjust to trying to like draw this thing in a mirror. And his first couple tries, like, no, you can't fucking trace this thing in a mirror. But over time he could do it perfectly.
Wow. Because
of the practice. But he didn't, for every time for him it was brand fucking new.
Wow.
So yeah, very fascinating man, but also very, very tragic because, like, every so often he'd be like, "Oh, by the way, where are my parents? Oh, they
died.
They
so
died
many years ago."
That's awful.
Yeah.
Oh, where's Earth? Oh, that got blown up, Archer.
Yeah, imagine having to tell somebody that shit every single day. Oh, everything you know and everyone and everything about life that made you feel comfortable
Trip's
knowing
other
it was
sisters.
At home. Trip have other sisters?
I don't know, but if they did, they got blown up.
Damn. Yeah, that's big. I mean, hearing about your parents, bad enough. Hearing about literally everybody in the fucking world except for 6,500 of your best friends, by
That's
which I mean
too much.
people you
That's
don't
so
know,
much.
that's huge.
Yeah, that right there is that difference between the visitor and this episode. Like, I cannot fathom learning something that large.
No, I think that would just break you. Like, I don't think you can have that over and over again,
Scale is often an issue in science fiction. Whether it is
yeah.
narrative or literal. Like I said before, like...
Every season of Discovery.
But, like, even especially, I've always said... I mean, Star Trek is also guilty of it, but everything in Star Wars is so literally enormous.
Yeah.
That after a while, none of it feels big. How many times, like... That, you think the first movie where it's like, there's that ship, you don't know quite how big it is, but it seems like it's probably... And then the other one, hauls ass over it. And that's this great moment of like, oh. And then in the second one, it's like, oh, there's that ship that was really big at the first one. And then it's under a ship, you're like, okay.
And then it turns into Mega Maid.
Yeah, it's just like, after a while, like, that was the last time they did scale well.
Sorry.
Love that movie.
Ames did herself a great reference.
One thing I feel like, I know we haven't gone to yet, but like one thing Beyond does decently is like when they pull up to that space station, the Enterprise is so tiny, you're like, oh shit, a sense of scale. Holy shit, you never get this. But yeah, in this case, it's narrative scale that's impossible to like wrap your mind around.
My very, very last note. So Mike Sussman, the writer, he meant to include somewhere in the script, but it got
Mayweather
moved or cut. No. How the Enterprise got to Earth in time to watch it explode, because, as they stated earlier, like, after T'Pol ramming speeds the ship.
Weren't they at warp, like, 1.7 was their max, and they only had one nacelle and shit?
Exactly, yeah. But what was cut for budget, and also because it would be confusing or something, they said, was that they got home via one of those Xindi subspace vortices.
Okay, so they just found one and hijacked it.
Well,
purportedly. That got
I call bullshit on that.
I mean, it's still confusing, like, wait, you guys are at 1.7 and now you're here watching. Okay, fine.
No, don't worry about it. It really, the average viewer of Enterprise is just waiting for the next time they get to see T'Pol's side boob, so they're not really questioning, the plot. No? Am I wrong?
No, you're very right. You're very right. Like, it's stupidly, a Facebook post I saw from a Jolene Blaylock appreciation group.
Oh no!
Oh man, Carbon Creek is the best episode, and it's just a picture of the boob through the through the sheet.
Jesus Christ!
And then shockingly, I was like, okay, what are people saying in the comments? But shockingly, it was mostly people just crediting how good that episode is. I'm like, all right, but I know
what episode did they see?
I know what you're actually here for, but all right.
It is a good episode.
It is a good episode, but
that
when the image they choose is
which
just
episode is it again? I'm sorry.
That's the Vulcans
first?
in the 50s.
Oh.
Were you
Yeah,
thinking,
okay,
were you thinking of
changes
Broken Bow?
I certainly was. I was thinking of. I
Ah.
was like, that's not a good.
Yeah, T'Pol changes behind
That's a
the
really.
sheet.
That's a really.
Or no,
weird start.
Tamir.
To Grandma.
Tamir,
To
technically.
grandma.
Anywho, shall
Anywho,
we continue?
speaking of visiting other places in
Ah,
disguise,
Here we go. Yes.
hide those ears, T'Pol.
All right. So in our next episode, North Star, we find ourselves confusingly on a Wild West planet.
Are we watching the right show? Do you
Yeah,
think?
and there's there's a guy that's like a sheriff kind of dude, and he
Deputy.
well, we don't know what he is yet.
Okay,
We
fair.
just know that
With a
he's
stupid fucking
we just know
hat.
he's a racist.
yeah. We know that he hangs some other dude. And then we find out that Archer and T'Pol
and Trip.
are actually on the planet, disguised as cowboys, and
Yeehaw.
yeehaw. They're looking around and like, huh, this is so fucking weird. There's all these humans, and we verify that they're humans based on our scans. Why the hell are there humans on this rando planet, and why are they living like it's 1899?
The ancient West.
The ancient West. So they're trying to investigate what's going on, and they find out that the guy that got killed, the guy that was hanged was he was an alien. They call them Skags, which is Skagaran for short.
Well, Skagaran for long, actually.
Yeah, I guess so. Short for Skagaran.
There it is.
TLDR, we learned that the Skagarans had abducted these humans from Earth in the 1860s, brought them to this area of space to be slave labor, but it didn't take very long before the humans rose up and overthrew the Skagarans.
Like, shockingly. Like it
6
was
months,
6
I think?
months, they said. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's...
Skagarans got
That's
in
some
over
tenacity.
their head. But since then, the humans, they didn't wipe them out, their Skagaran captors. They let them live, but they have to live in, like, camps, and they're forbidden to learn how to read or get married or do anything. So they're basically repressed, and they've been this way for 300 years at this point.
Let's be fair. They haven't stopped them from doing anything. Apparently, they're still just fine to be, like, raped or whatever, because the girl, Bethany, she's a quarter Skagaran, which means somebody's grandfather was diddling somebody's slave labor, probably.
Yeah, well, so then we join our plot where Archer has to stick his nose in.
Well, he was right this time.
Oh yeah,
though.
for sure,
I mean...
for sure. Like these are shitty people. So basically,
Beam
Archer.
Bennings into space.
Oh my god, please, 10 times.
Yeah,
over
so
and
we
over again.
learned that like the local sheriff, he's kind of a piece of shit, but he's not the biggest piece of shit. The biggest piece of shit is the deputy Bennings, who was the guy that did the hanging, and he's just like mustache twirlingly evil. Like he doesn't seem to have any proper motivation to do anything. He just hates everything and everyone. So he's just an asshole.
And has a ton of followers, evidently.
Yeah, it has like a whole posse of pieces of shit.
Just a unending swarm of bad guys.
That we never met until the end of the show. Like, all of a sudden.
Where did they come from?
Seriously, a clown carriage, excuse me.
It's like Edison Force.
Archer befriends Bethany, the town school teacher, who moonlights as a school teacher for Skags, where she like sneaks off to Skagville and
Skagville!
That's what they call it, or Skagtown or something.
Sneaking off to Skagville. That feels like a country song just waiting to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, so she's going there to teach them how to read and write, and of course Bennings follows her and arrests her and Archer for being there, and then the sheriff's like, well, we're gonna send her to jail for 10 years for reasons.
It's the minimum sentence.
Minimum sentence, 10 years. And so Archer breaks her out of jail, and as they're trying to escape, she gets shot. So what do? You beam back to the Enterprise.
In front of everybody.
In front of everybody, which is fine, whatever.
Yeah, fuck these people.
Well, the Prime Directive's already been fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even if they weren't to be like, they're humans, it doesn't count.
Yeah, he pulls up a
They've
card,
stagnated.
shows her planet from space.
Ah!
Hey.
Yeah.
Right?
What happened? What did you say?
He pulls up a card and shows her planet from space.
Oh, yeah. And then they make sweet, sweet love in the captain's ready room, probably.
You bet.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's gotta get you pussy, right? Showing people their world from above.
Oh, for sure.
Big time. Anyway, go ahead, Jake.
So he goes back down to the planet, and he's talking to the sheriff now, out of character, and he's like, "Listen, here's the deal. We're humans. We're from Earth. We don't do this shit anymore. You got to cut the shit with the Skags. You know, it's 300 years ago. Let it go." Are
you here to rescue us? No.
Yeah. Are you gonna take us back to Earth? No, our ship's tiny, and we're doing a thing. So
got bigger fish to fry, bitch.
So, but maybe someday we'll send another ship here. Who knows?
Maybe one day we'll return to this place and see what has grown from the seeds we planted this day.
Nope, more racism. Shit.
Son of a bitch.
So
that always happens.
So the sheriff, he's open. He's a little more open-minded than he lets on. So he might be going along with this thing. But then, right as they're about to take the shuttle back to the Enterprise, old Benning shows up with about 40 fucking guys.
100 fucking guys.
And there's a shootout at the OK Corral.
And he shot the sheriff.
He shoots the sheriff. Sheriff got shot.
Yep.
He
didn't die though.
Did he not die? Okay, good.
No.
So yes, he talks.
Okay, good.
He's like, Benning, they're human, or some shit.
So there's a big shootout. The Makos get some action.
Yes, a ton of them, like several Makos.
I still know none of their names.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Reed, like the old classic maneuver where T'Pol is like held at gunpoint. So Reed shoots her with the phaser.
I would have loved if those were flipped. I would have fucking loved if those were flipped.
Yeah. But he confuses the bad guy long enough that Reed can shoot him too. Archer gets shot like brutally through the shoulder, like totally destroys his rotator.
And he just shakes it off.
But then he proceeds to have a very physical fight with the bad guy.
Yeah, well, he's not a pussy.
No, but like whoever did the squib on that fucking shot, like really laid it on thick. There was
nothing left in this shoulder.
That was a gory shot.
Well, and like on top of the buckshot that's now in his arm, it probably blew his rank pips into his arm because that's right where he got shot. So there's extra shrapnel. Like Phlox had to dig out fucking Buck and his fucking pips. You want these back or you want new ones?
I do want them back.
So anyway, we defeat the bad guy. He doesn't get killed. He just kind of gets dazed. But then I guess assume he fucks off somewhere. We never follow up with him.
I hope that the guy that helps at the bar lynches him. I think that would be divine justice.
But yeah, and then the epilogue. The Enterprise leaves, but we find out that now Bethany's the school teacher. Still the school teacher, but there's now an integrated class.
And she's teaching Earth history.
She's teaching them about
not critical race theory.
Not critical race.
Definitely not that. They'd be so confused if they did that.
And the sheriff has come around to it, and
it is an all-white town, so there is that.
That's something that I picked up on immediately. It's like, in this fucking allegory about racism, everyone's white.
Yeah, but they didn't want to make black slaves, probably. No, I would guess. If I had to guess.
I just think it was odd that it wasn't all white. Like, there could have been a black guy in the town.
I'm thinking the aliens kidnapped a more diverse group, and then the white peopled.
That's true.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit. They probably didn't even wait till they got to the planet. They probably fucking killed the black guys on the fucking ship before they even landed.
Okay, so before we talk about this, I do have to go on a mini rant.
Everybody, turn down your speakers now.
Because I find this episode I thought it was going to be completely dumb. It was fine.
Chris's favorite episode.
But no, God, no. I do find it philosophically upsetting.
Uh-oh.
Because in the midst of this season, you dare do an episode about racism?
That's true.
It's
post 9/11 season.
See, I was gonna say, like, in the middle of this season, we just decided to take a break from the Xindi thing because I have no idea why we're here in the first.
Oh yeah, that's a whole different.
But that's more of a take me out of the holosuite complaint of mine, which we'll talk about in our Blogtivity today.
Ooh. But yeah, like I'm just like, wow. So in the midst of this, again, we've always had like John and the other humans like with Vulcans thing. But you could read that at least of like, well, they're still learning. But they have undone so much learning this season. And again, just to have the audacity to do like a TOS ass, let's save money by just raiding the Western sets and prop department and costume wardrobe.
It's literally the OK Corral
To
set,
do-
probably.
No, those weren't complete.
Which, like, this is...
Those didn't have walls.
I know, I was just kidding.
The xenophobia season, where, like, again, Archer forgets half the time that his enemies are being manipulated. Where, like, I find it interesting. I was thinking about this, too. Like, yeah, all the Xindi are in on this to a varying degree. But the ones, the plan, or at least...
All the Xindi?
Well, all the...
Nope. We just met that ape one the other
I should say
week.
that the council has representatives from all the races.
Okay, that I'll accept.
But the ones who we show being the most actively angry and violent are the reptilians and the insectoids, the ones that look the least like humans, except for the dugongs. But let's be honest, you based your aquatics off of, like, gentle giants. They're not sharks. They're not some sort of other, like, they're not big pointy teeth. They're not
wise old whales.
Yeah, so you're kind of like more to be like, all right.
I don't want to see them at SeaWorld.
Like, whenever there's an attack, whenever there's a boarding, it's never the ones that look almost human. It's the lizard men and the insect men. Mm-hmm. The ones that look the most different, are the most knee-jerk off-putting.
That's a very good assessment.
And in the midst of
they
this...
look the least like us.
Of all fucking seasons, they have the goddamned audacity to do this. It's like, fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, right after some
Sing
episodes where Archer, like, tortures people and stuff.
Literally, like, actual, literal...
innocent people!
Yeah, for
like,
real.
had this been season 1 or 2, fine. We probably would have been going, it feels a bit TOS. But, like, now. Anyway, that out of the way, we can just discuss the episode in a vacuum if we'd like.
Where Bennings should have been.
Dude, he sucks.
Fuck that guy. I also specifically ended up hating that guy because of his hat.
Oh.
Because he reminded me so much of... Oh, the name is gone. Biddle Coleridge. There it is. From Past Tense. Who was basically a hat.
What is this?
Yeah, I've never heard
Past
of it.
Tense... Wow. Was the episode where Cisco and Jadzia and Bashir go back in time. And go to the sanctuary cities.
I thought... it was a TV show.
I thought it was a video game. I
was
had no idea what we were talking about.
It wasn't the same hat.
But it was the fact that
it was a statement hat to make him look, stand out from the other cowboys.
Yeah, I see that.
But
yeah.
I see what you're talking about. CJ or whatever his name was. CJ? It was something like that.
I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot that there was like the hat guy
BC.
in that.
BC. Yeah.
Biddle
Coleridge.
Coleridge, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
You just said that.
It's
I'm
funny.
Sorry.
I didn't put the letters together. I'm like, what?
It's funny, I looked him up because I thought he was familiar, and I guess he has had small parts in many of Quentin Tarantino's recent films, including his several westerns.
He's got that look.
I also feel like he looked enough like Reed that if you told me he was his, like, stand-in or stunt double, I maybe would have believed it. Like, there's no confusing them, but, like, if you kind of squint, I could see him getting thrown over a railing during a stunt.
Yeah, I mean, the hat was definitely needed because once the hat came off, I did not even realize that was the same character.
Yeah, he looked very different without
He
the
just
hat.
looked like a very generic guy.
I thought you were about to say a Gen Xer.
Nope,
I was like, what?
I tried. My mouth didn't work.
Probably is, right?
Oh, true. I suppose so.
Yeah.
But
I also feel like, again, this is kind of taking it out of a vacuum, but, like, it does make sense for it to be Archer who's most offended and annoyed, but it's like, I don't know, you're in the Old West, and Trip is our pan-southerner. Shouldn't it have been him?
Why did they bring T'Pol?
True.
Why were they there in the first place?
That,
Because
yeah,
we just
that-
jump
I can-
in
that
and
I
they're
can
there.
explain.
Can you
Yeah.
do it?
Because in a deleted scene, they actually opened the episode where they're going through space and they stumble upon a wagon
Stage wagon in space.
that's full of manure, and they're like,
Once they
smells.
start it up, it still runs?
yeah.
The horse is still alive!
Trip knows how to power on the horse.
Oh god, that did annoy me. How hard can it be? Probably exceptionally, Charlie.
To ride a horse?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he did manage to ride it.
Barely.
But that fucking maneuver where he swung T'Pol up with his arm, I was like,
I mean,
shit,
he
Trip.
watches a lot of old movies, so
He does.
he's probably picked up a thing or
I
two.
mean, I play Grand Theft Auto. I can't drive, I'm sure.
You're like, I can't kill a prostitute and then get away with it, I'm pretty sure.
Get away with it? No.
Again.
I mean, the first time was amazing, but I don't think that kind of luck could possibly hold
But yeah,
up.
I feel like yeah, I get it. You're like, oh my god, these are humans. But you've got a much more this is a send a message back to Starfleet. Put a pin in this.
Well, aren't they like outside of range or something?
Probably.
There's like no way that the anomalies and shit are like letting through lots of messages.
So, okay,
right?
no message,
Right.
but you still, this is like, wow, this is fucking crazy. We're gonna swing back after we've saved the world, hopefully.
Yeah, we have a priority that's well above this.
Yeah, but
shit.
somebody
but if they
should
hadn't
check
swung
in on
by-
these people.
But if they hadn't swung by, it was gonna. See, here's the thing. This is where that SETI Alpha 5 shit from the episode before kind of came in, because they're like, oh, well, we'll just we'll come back. Sorry, I just grazed Ames' leg.
It's fine.
Oh my lord.
Maybe we'll come back, later to catch up. And T'Pol's like, no, we could have set horrible consequences into action. And if they hadn't gone back down to see what the fuck was going on, they would have got back in the
Skagarans.
Skagarans, the Saskatchewan, would have been Skagarans.
Well, yeah, I mean-
they would have been totally wiped out, and like they would have been like, oh fuck, and T'Pol would have been like, see, what did I fucking say, Archer?
But it's like, they shouldn't have got, like, again, it works out, but they're going down in the first place. Like, they must have swung by and be like, those look like humans. And someone should have been like, yeah, so does every fucking fifth race we meet. I guess the fact that it was the Old West, though,
Yeah.
was
Those
a
are
little weird.
horses.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is...
well, that's something that perplexes me. Is okay. So the Skagarans abducted a bunch of humans from Earth,
And their
but
horses.
they also abducted their horses, their guns, like
Yeah.
like, what-
All their stuff. They just
all
took
their stuff.
everything in like a mile radius.
That's the thing. Like, I would have liked, and I get it. You save money by just using existing sets and costumes and all this, but it would have been nice to have little touches here and there that suggest like they've recreated the world they were used to with what I mean. They didn't mention, oh, this is all made by indigenous material, but like maybe some of the shitty deputy guys have like aging weird like metal bits hanging off their clothes. Like maybe they took old armor or parts from the ships and made stuff out of it. Like
Ooh.
just little things
I
here and
know.
there.
That would have been cool.
So that it wasn't just one the Old West.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
we've got those Skagaran ships
Yeah.
out in the middle of the desert somewhere that they're not using any of that material.
I mean, they maybe in the early days did when they were first trying to survive after the uprising, but like again, just a little moments here, little maybe bits of weird stuff worked into the buildings, or maybe the clothes aren't quite Old Westy, like something's a little off. Like,
I mean, the thing that bothered me, I think, the most was all of the guns, because that's like
Yeah.
precision manufacturing.
yeah.
Did they also like take a gunsmith with
Right.
with a lathe and all the other equipment you need?
Right, because the Skagarans aren't going to be like, hey, we're going to take you to be our slaves, but here are your weapons, just in
Yeah,
case you need them
like,
later.
what-
That's how they rose up so easily.
Just the idiots.
Like, they really
What did
just,
you expect?
They really just give us our guns back? Yeah.
I always
Okay.
told you boys
There
this
you-
day would come. This is big government coming to take our lives away. We got to fight back.
Yeah, they're
Yeehaw!
used to like phased weapons. They have no idea like these things are actually useful.
Yeah, really, they probably think they're fucking toys, actually. Like,
Mm.
boy. Yeah, but fuck the Skagarans, huh? That's not really cool that they decided to do slavery.
Yeah, that ain't great.
But it's extremely cool that we didn't learn anything from our slavery times at all.
No.
Actually, that's because they were taken. It was slavery time.
the
The
1860s
fucking
or
irony,
something.
huh?
I don't know. I found it like to be way too similar to the 37s, which
Yeah.
was the same fucking abduction
Well, except
plot.
yeah, I think at least in the 37s,
What was the 37?
that was
The Amelia Earhart
that's the one
episode.
with the pickup.
Is that
truck.
Voyager?
Yeah,
Why did they take them in the 37s? Was it the same thing?
I think they. No,
Wasn't
I
some
think I don't know.
Clone
I
High
don't
shit?
know if we learned the aliens' motivation.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, at
in
least
37.
here there's a sensible motivation.
Yeah,
You want slave labor. It's evil, but I get it.
And you went really, really far out of your way to find some.
Yeah.
Outside the Delphic Expanse.
You went
What?
way out of your way to pick the wrong fucking people, apparently.
Well, they tried with Andorians, and that also ended poorly.
I mean, this is basically the plot of Stargate.
Tell me more.
I mean, that's the whole idea with Stargate is that the Goa'uld or the Goulds or the Goa'uld,
Goulds.
however you want to say it.
How's
However many syllables you think it
they
has
went,
is
like-
correct.
Like the reason why every time the SG-1 team goes through the Stargate to another new planet, they meet humans,
Oh,
and they're
yeah.
either like ancient Egyptians or they're ancient Greeks or Norse people, Vikings. I'm sure they meet Old West people at some point, and it's all because the Goa'uld were farming Earth for slave labor, and also for hosts for their parasite selves. But
And also, they learned how to build pyramids from the Egyptians.
Probably more like the other way around.
Yeah,
Well,
the other way.
that's a Futurama line.
Oh.
Yeah. The Goa'uld were using the pyramids are actually landing pads for their pyramid.
Oh, I've
ships.
heard about
of course.
this actually.
Yeah.
Wait, is that for real in the show or?
That's in SG1, yeah. But
I've
it's
heard
all
about
kind
this.
of based on conspiracy theory bullshit. Like it's sort of a play on that.
Yeah, it's probably about the Anunnaki.
Mm.
Nanaki?
Anunnaki.
No, I know. I just want to say Nanaki.
But yeah, so the idea of like aliens coming to Earth and making off with humans
Mhm.
for slaves is tale as old as time.
And we learn all the exposition for this scene through a lesson we're teaching to the children. Oh, which of you children wants to tell our new friend Archer what happened? And I'm like, okay, I see that this is how you're delivering exposition, but how
And
dare
I
you
hate
involve
it.
these children?
Yeah, it might be all the Skagaran whiskey I had, but I actually thought this week's episodes were okay.
Yeah, I didn't
Even this episode I thought was
didn't
okay.
mind this.
you
I
know?
just thought it was very superficial, shallow.
And it's shit we've seen before
Yeah, it's shit
too.
we've
It's
seen
nothing
before.
new,
Absolutely.
And
major
I
rehash.
just wish that Bennings had more.
Comeuppance?
Well, no, just like if there was more of an indication of
Oh, motivation?
motivation for him. Like he just seems to be
I don't know,
violent.
racists don't usually have
But
motivation
he doesn't
other than
even.
they're
He doesn't,
racist.
but he doesn't even seem like other than that first scene where he's in the bar with the kid, and he's just harassing the kid to be an asshole.
Jake, when someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily need a guy to be. I don't need him to try to justify why he's a racist. We're getting enough of that this season with Archer.
This season, we're getting enough of that here today in our real fucking lives.
But yes, I just wanted to make fun of Archer. Like, yeah, just saying someone's an asshole because they hate people based on their species that's enough. That works.
Fair enough.
I mean, it would make more actually maybe I don't know. They could have made him more interesting while keeping him just evil. See Kai Wynn.
See, I don't trust the writers to give him a good reason.
True.
Because the reason would be like, oh, a Skagaran once crossed me. It's like, it's the laziest backstory you can give somebody.
Yeah, I mean, it's sufficient to say, like, he grew up in this society, and boy, does he love it.
A Skagaran called me chicken once. Nobody calls me chicken.
Bring me chicken.
Delicious.
It also never really came up or was remotely important that Bethany was part Skagaran.
No.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah,
It was just,
right.
it was
She
a
would've
lazy.
just been a good person.
Yeah, no,
What
it was
the
a
fuck?
lazy reason to give her motivation beyond, like you said, just maybe realizing, like, not needing a reason to go, like, hey, this is bad just because.
Did she know? Did we ever even get an indication that she knows her origin?
No, we actually do not.
Because as far as we know, she is just doing it because she's a good person.
Yeah, true, true.
That's fucking wild. How do we not get any follow-up on that whatsoever? Did they run out of time, Ames? Did they cut a scene where we're supposed to see some shit?
Not that I saw.
Cut a
but
lengthy
it's
scene with
the-
Mayweather.
The answer is because the writers are hacks.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I did read. Okay, here is the writing tidbit that I did read, and that was that Brandon Braga challenged the writer of this episode, David A. Goodman,
To a duel.
to do a parallel Earth story, like all those old TOS episodes that we love so much.
The Son of God.
And he did, and the original plan was to set it in medieval times.
Oh, boy.
Until Braga said, "Hey, how about you do the Old West?"
I didn't want to challenge you that much.
Would medieval times have tickled any of your fancy?
Only if it was actually at, like, Medieval Manor and, not, no. No.
No, oh my god. I'm torn because it would have been so dumb. Because you know they
There'd
would
be a
have...
joust.
Oh my god.
Def-
Definitely
like a
be a
joust.
joust.
That'd be good. They would have put T'Pol in, like, one of those, like, not proper medieval outfits, but one of those, like, Kira
bikini,
and... No, Kira and Dax on the holodeck, like, 1950s ones with the big cone hats.
Oh, it would have been adorable.
See, here's the thing. They should not have brought T'Pol down to begin with.
No, not at all.
Because when Archer first says, like, oh, keep a low profile, don't say anything weird, stop showing off your ears, T'Pol.
Yeah,
why did we bring you?
a space alien with us?
Also,
Space alien.
how bad is Trip at lying? Where's your horse? Died right outside. First thought I had before he said anything. It's like,
Dead.
died a few miles outside of town.
I know, and then T'Pol, like, agonizingly, it died of Heat
Well,
stroke.
surely that was meant.
Yeah.
That must have been meant to be some kind of like homage to like my ears got caught in a rice picker or something, right? Like, did that
Maybe.
have to be? I mean,
Almost certainly, but it's still terrible.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
again,
it's not good.
Vulcans can lie. I mean, we've known this, but here's more proof.
Oh shit, you're right.
They prefer lying.
They love lying.
Mm-hmm.
I have very little else on this episode.
Cool.
Because
Well, let's
meh.
move on then.
Yeah.
Because
You
meh.
don't have to hang with it.
Nope.
That's true.
It happened.
We've done a succinct and good thing here.
I am
The
not.
Rossi clock would be happy with us at this point.
I find it philosophically hypocritical.
I just found
That's
it
the thing. I have a lot
very
of like,
bland.
I have a lot of feelings about this, but especially just the idea of like, I'm not good at putting things into words. You guys know that. But like,
Can you do an interpretive dance? That would be terrible on a podcast.
no, that's okay. But yes, I could. But like, I don't know. I can't. Never mind. Cut all of this because I just like
my
I
interpretive
there's
dance joke.
but there's something about like the slavery and like the not seeing the there's something there, and I just can't like make myself formulate like a good thought about it.
the
Like
slavery in terms of also the fact that Archer is still a massive racist, even though he claims to these people like we did away with racism years ago.
yeah, it's just not, but not even just that. It's like they're like still mad, even that it's okay. That's what it is. It's like it's the white guy being like, it was a long time ago. Yeah, but we have a long memory, and it's sort of like if I thought they were smart enough, I would think that this was like them trying to deal with like, you know, the call for like reparations for like African Americans whose families were dragged to this country or something. Like, I feel like there's something there, but if it is, I don't think it's intentional. And I also don't think that I'm like intelligent enough to make it make sense.
See, the point of this episode was horsies. Let's play dress up and play with horsies.
Yeah, it was like we need
Can we form an episode around that?
We-
Challenge accepted.
we want a break from our theoretically heavy arc. Let's do a TOS episode.
You know what else is cool? ROM.
Yeah.
Good segue, Jake. So here we are in our normal Blogtivity Spotlight, which you're definitely following over on the Tumblr, because that's also where you get to see all the pictures and snark. And this week is ROM week.
Moogie.
Oh boy. Oh boy, Rom is a tough character, because when he's good, and when he's bad, I want to fucking hit him. As much as Quark often does.
I'll start us off.
Do it!
You son of a bitch.
Good things that Rom has done. He forms a union.
Mm-hmm.
He's a champion of labor.
Yep.
Which is gonna really suck as the Nagus, but
Oh no!
But yes, he is a champion of labor. Good for him. When the Cardassian is the Dominion, I guess, has taken over the station, he joins the Resistance and almost gets himself killed, trying to sabotage the deflector dish.
I don't know what episode this was.
Oh, it was whatever the one when the they try to retake the station from the Cardassians.
Oh boy, I'm gonna have to look this up because I don't remember what episode this is, Jake.
Yeah, I think it's the same
There
one.
are so many.
Which episode?
The one where Rom is trying to shut down the ship's deflector, but because Odo is banging the changeling, he forgets to turn off the security alarm,
God,
and then
poor
Rom
Rom.
gets caught and almost executed.
Yeah, dude, that is... And somehow, it's not on this list of Rom's most crucial Deep Space Nine moments. Not that I didn't prepare or anything.
Just Googling Rom
Behind
shuts...
the lines, I think.
Sounds right.
Googling Rom shuts down deflector just got me a bunch of stuff about emulators.
That's funny. And then my last moment that I want to mention is basically standing up to Quark, particularly when Nog wanted to join Starfleet.
Hell yeah.
And Quark was trying to sabotage him, and Rom's like, "You fucking asshole, fuck off. Let my son be."
I believe what it says is, when it comes to the bar, you may be in charge, but when it comes to my son, I make the decisions.
There you go.
I'm gonna go next because Jake already sent two of mine.
Nog should make
God
his decisions.
Damn
but-
it. He's a minor. He doesn't get to make his own decisions yet.
So yes, standing up to his brother in facets, unionizing the bar and bar association.
Yep.
And the one original one I had was that time Jake and Nog become roommates and their friendship starts to fall apart, and he schemes with Cisco to get them back together.
Oh, that
That's
is a good
one.
Rom moment.
That's in the Ascent.
Yes, it is.
I guess that means I'm going next.
You are.
Obviously, number one for me is always going to be how much he like loves Nog and how much he wants him to have a better life and how much he stands up to Quark, because we see him up to that point being kind of Quark's little bitch all the time. And it isn't just that too, it's like it's just overall, okay? Like he stands up to Quark, he gets him that cadet uniform,
that
he's
was
so
very
proud.
cute.
Yeah.
They have the like selling of his like possessions or whatever to go and, you know, become, you know, whatever at the Federation, the becoming a man thing where you have to sell off your shit, your first deals.
That was cute.
And apparently, as I'm watching, you know, rewatching the series for my 4th time or whatever, when Quark and Nog have to, or when Quark and Rom are like roommates briefly because the Nagus has taken over Quark's quarters, we find out that Rom has been stealing Nog's favorite beverages from Quark's bar. So, great father.
Wow, that
best
is
father.
interesting.
Yeah, he's like, oh, is that bubble and squeak juice or some shit?
Bubble and squeak.
It's something bubble juice. It's some kind of bubble juice or other. But yeah, I know bubble and squeak is some English food.
It's
Like mashed potatoes or something?
I think it's a slang for just like, yeah, no, actually, I
Bubble
don't know.
and squeak. Bangers and mash in it. Oh, hey, governor, spotted dick.
Yeah.
Pip, pip. Anyway, so yeah, being the best father. Him and Ben Sisko, like, honestly, 2 of the best fathers ever. 2 of the best single fathers, raising their boys with love and showing them love and telling them they love them. It's just mwah. So I love it. Most of like the big theme with Rom is standing up to Quark, because there's also that scene when Rom's standing up for Moogie, basically, when Quark's like, oh, Mom's making money and embarrassing us, why if Father was still alive, and Rom is like, you fucking dumb bitch, Dad was terrible at doing business, just like you, and I was here for a decade after you left, and I got to see the whole thing, so fuck you. Awesome. Love you, Rom. And, what did I say, Nog and Quark. Oh yeah, and the Union. Fuck yeah, the Union.
Yeah.
Honorable mention to marrying Chase Masterson, because dem titties. What's her name? Neela? What's her real name?
Leela?
Leela.
Lita. Right. Leela's Futurama.
Very cool, very cool. I got a couple spares for you guys, because I think any moment when he's standing up for Nog is at the top.
Yep.
Starting the Union and Bar Association is near the top. Here's some spares that are pretty good. He came up with the whole cloaked reproducing minefield idea in Call to Arms.
I think that makes him a war criminal.
We love our war criminals on Deep Space
This
Nine.
is true.
That's true. That's
Also,
one of the best characters.
It's proof that he's not a good businessman, but he's actually very intelligent. He's a good engineer.
He's
Exactly,
a really good
yeah.
engineer.
His engineering skills somehow outranks O'Brien's sometimes.
On occasion.
Fascinating. I also thought it was a really good scene when Moogie has been kidnapped by the Dominion, and they're trying to stage how they're going to rescue her. And Rom is the one who says, we're treating this like a covert operation, but we're Ferengi, and we're bad at this. We should be treating this like a deal. And so they go and make effectively a business deal transaction to give them Kivon for Moogie, and that is a perfect Ferengi tactic. Especially when you know you can't fight for shit.
That's the thing. Like, Lek the Eliminator, so we know there are Ferengi assassins. But yeah, they're probably not subtle about it.
They're probably absolutely terrible at it.
He's still alive and free.
And the last good moment I'm gonna give Rom is gonna be, oh boy. Okay, in Prophet Motive, when the Nagus has turned good, and puts Rom in front of the Ferengi Benevolence Society or something like that. It turns out that Rom
Was embezzling.
starts
the money.
embezzling from the Nagus, and I give him a lot of credit for that. Good for him.
Yes.
Well done.
Dear.
It's also fuck the Nagus. What a dick.
All right. Bad Rom.
Oh.
I'm gonna say, although this is not really his fault, it kind of is because it's kind of a bad Ferengi move. But getting swindled by his first wife.
Ooh.
Well, we know he's bad at that aspect of
He
Ferenginess.
made a terrible deal and got saddled with Nog, and but I mean it worked out in the end, and she seemed like a miserable person. So.
Or just her father was a miserable person.
Oh yeah, that's true. I guess it was a deal with her father, not with her. She might have been a victim. So yeah, getting swindled by his first wife's father, we'll say. Let's say when he tried to kill Quark by putting him in the airlock.
That's a bad moment? That was going to be on my good moments list.
Oh no.
Well, we just did the good, and you didn't do it.
Well, that's because that was a better one.
I don't know. It's just it's out of character for later Rom. I feel like.
True.
That's true. But
like-
he totally changes.
Yeah, like the writers hadn't settled on him yet, and at that point, I'm trying to remember what is that in the Nagus?
That was in the Nagus.
When Quark becomes the Nagus.
Yep, and Rom was trying to get him killed off.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna say threatening to out Pell
Yeah.
when he threatens that he's going to reveal Pell's identity.
Yeah, that was just fucking
Yeah,
bitter on his part.
yeah, and like, you know, Quark bribes him not to do it, but still.
I mean, he succeeded in outing Pell to Quark.
Well, yeah, he did out Pell to Quark. That's true. But
I thought Pell outed herself to Quark because
Pell outed herself to the Nagus.
Oh, cause what? No, cause isn't there the scene where they're sharing a bedroom
Uh-huh.
and like
No, Quark still thinks
Quark
Pell's a dude
just
at that
yeah,
Oh,
Quark,
right, that's
Quark
why
just
Quark
thinks
is so
that
turned
that,
off.
that it's that it's.
Have we already talked about Quark?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did any of us mention him rejecting Pell like a fucking dumb bitch?
I think you did.
Oh, good. I hope so because fuck me, Quark, you stupid bitch.
Yeah. So at that point, he thought it was just a gay thing, which he was like not cool with, but also not like this isn't an emergency. It wasn't until he found out that Pell was a woman that he's like, oh my god, this is the worst.
Yeah. I wish she was gay. What?
Yeah.
I mean,
This would have been so much easier.
What do I have? So, you know, he worked with Cisco to get Nog and Jake to rekindle their friendship. Several years after trying to tell Nog he couldn't be friends with a human.
Right.
That's bad. Similarly bad, pulling Nog out of school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the Nagus. And this one inevitably getting that nurse in 1940 fucking whatever to give him a Ferengi hand job.
Oh yeah.
In front of his son, no less!
he stole the idea from his son. Nog was
did it
having him
first.
doing it first.
Oh my
And
god!
then he was like, "Oh, my ear kind of hurts, nurse."
That's horrible. Like, it's bad enough. But, like, ew.
I don't know. Ask Speaker Jim Jordan. He and his son share pornography or whatever. Haven't you heard about this? Never mind. This was
porno.
maybe
Oh, no. This was some sort of, like, they had each other's tracker or
yeah,
something.
but I mean,
If
Yeah.
like if
oh, son,
if-
were you jerking it earlier?
if-
Because I see a porno ping here.
if old Mikey boy looks at porno, it sends a notice
It lets
to
his son know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I feel like they were
that's worse.
Dad's jerking it.
It's like
right
they were doing it
now.
in the same room. But yeah, either way, Umox is always bad.
Well, thanks
Speaking
a lot.
of, I've got more Umox moments to make fun of for
Okay.
my bad list. Oh, it's Caitlin's turn. Caitlin, tell us some more bad Umox
Ames
moments.
is like, Caitlin doesn't have any
I'm
fucking
so
moments.
I have to out these Umox moments.
So many.
Yeah, no,
so
Umox
many.
moments. Okay, so the time he sang for Vic and was terrible.
Okay.
That time he tried to play baseball and was terrible.
Yep.
And the Umox thing from the 1940s. That was very much my worst thing. Because what the fuck, Rom?
Yeah, fuck all of that.
I just like, it's like, and it sucks because like, what is that, third or fourth season? Like, it feels like with the Ferengi, it's always like 2 steps forward and then 1 step back until the 7th season when they just decide that Quark's actually a scumbag again and like make him be a real big
Yeah.
fucking disaster mess.
It's why I'm like I'm just always so perplexed by the choices they made with the Rom character because he swings wildly like he does in baseball from extremes. Like he's a brilliant engineer, but he's played all the time to be stupid. And then that's the joke. The joke is always just Rom is stupid. And sometimes the jokes are funny. Like Rom couldn't find a glass of water if you put him in a lake. It's a funny joke. But it's also like incredibly insensitive because the joke is simply Rom is stupid and that's funny, right? It's always funny to have a stupid character. It's why we laugh at Ralph Wiggum. It's why we laugh at Joey on Friends when they do something stupid. And they just kind of end up flanderizing each other into just being nothing but stupid. And I don't understand why they did this with Rom, and it bothers the fuck out of me.
Well,
they
they subverted it though with Rom, right? Because he turned out to be extremely smart.
Yeah, I'm not stupid. I just lack confidence, and yet so frequently, like it's just the dumb jokes.
Yeah,
are always so dumb. The dumb voice is such a choice.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a hangover. Just the fact that, like, initially the character was just dumb, and by then that just had been how he sounded, and then you're kind of just like, oh, what do we do?
Yeah, now we've done this shit.
But yeah, I think you could read it again, it could have been handled better. But, like, he's been being told he's dumb for so much of his life that even when he begins to realize he's better, he's going to self-sabotage on occasion.
That's fine. Yeah, and that's fine. But I think, like, just how dumb they made him
Yeah.
sound and look and say stuff. Like, they do this a little, and it's a very fine line in Always Sunny with just how stupid Charlie is. And sometimes they just make him, like, more stupid than he should be for someone who can survive in the world, which is fascinating a little bit, but also, like, Charlie Day is so charming that I allow it. But Rom is not charming. And here's some more ways Rom is not fucking charming. Here's more Umox moments. I have 2 more Umox moments.
Umox.
Because every Umox moment is going on my list. He gave himself an ear infection from too much Umox in bar association.
Oh, God, that's right.
Which is just
That's
disgusting to
disgusting.
think about. And afterwards, in I think possibly even the same scene, he says, well, he asks Lita to give him Umox. And I just find it fucking disgusting. Every time it's gross. Every time I just hate it and have to put it on my lists.
Well, and it's before they're an item, right?
It's before they're an
Well,
item.
it's before they're an item, but it's, still a fucking piece of fine print in her contract, probably.
Yeah, not that she answers to him, though.
I know.
Like, seriously, it's like, even if they were, like, it's in public, so if they were together, it's just, you do that behind closed doors when you're a couple, but they're not even a couple yet.
Right, yeah. Like, this is just something that it's normal for Ferengi society, and the writers just have to keep squeezing it into episodes
really
because they think it's a joke.
Yeah.
They think fucking sexual assault is a joke, and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of him and Lita, he has another terrible moment with Lita in Ferengi Love Songs when they're engaged, and he makes her sign a waiver of a property and promise.
Yes, I forgot all about that. When he goes full Ferengi, like, I'm gonna be the man, and you're not gonna keep working, and burp, 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 fuck you, Rom.
Yeah,
But doesn't he? I mean, yes, that is shitty.
It is shitty.
But he does.
By the end, he stops.
He stops.
He learns by the end, oh, you're a Bajoran, and I don't have to make you do this.
Doesn't he give all of his money to charity so that?
Yeah, and that's a good moment, but it came out of I'm going to be a normal Ferengi and do the normal Ferengi thing, which is incredibly sexist, because, to me it's okay.
Faux shiz.
It's why also later in another episode, the one where they get married, I think, and they're looking through wedding dresses, and the one that he wants her to wear is literally 2 handkerchiefs and a loincloth. And she says, Rom, I will not be naked for your wedding. He says, oh, well, you still have the loincloth. Fuck this fucking character.
It's more than a Bajoran. Not Bajoran. Fuck.
Betazoid.
Damn it, yeah, would have had.
Yeah, but they do it by choice.
No, I know.
They do it by choice.
No, I know.
Unless the Beta Z was marrying Odo, because they were Betazoid.
Betazoid?
Was marrying Odo because they were both dressed in that, weren't they? In big.
Well, that was a Tabnian wedding.
In big, terrible surgeon's gowns.
Yeah, well, it was like a different culture wedding they were doing too.
Yeah. Oh God, I love that. I just love that. I did mention that in Odo's episode, right? Because I just that is not to take away from Rom being shit, but boy, wasn't Odo great in that episode? Dear God. I feel like there's more about Rom being shit too, and I just thought of like an honorable mention, and now I can't. Oh no, I did remember.
Yeah.
My honorable mention is it taking him so fucking long to ask Lita out after she kept pressing her tits into his face.
I know. She's like,
ad
you like these,
nauseam
right?
all the time. Like, hey Rom, I'm gonna go to my house later and try on lingerie. Do you want to help? And he was like, Mookie, and then like runs away. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying the man's got mommy issues, but he might have.
Yeah, I mean, some of the relationships we get in Deep Space Nine. I mean, I get maybe it's that they're trying to make them like fully formed people, but Sisko is terrible to Cassidy. Rom is terrible to Lita. Like later on, he just decides, okay, we got married. Now you're leaving the station because I decided it for you, and I'm staying. And she's like, why didn't I get a fucking say in this? God damn it! And Miles and Keiko are terrible too. Well, all of them.
They're better.
But at least they had the sense to send Keiko away so that we could just have Miles and Julian playing house all the time.
They were still better in DS9 than in TNG.
Not much.
When they were just a sitcom.
Yeah, again, though, Keiko wasn't there, so, like, at least you had to see them together less. Also, Keiko, like, not knowing that he actually does like coffee in the afternoon.
He changed his habits. It happens.
Listen, I bet he didn't. I bet he's always liked coffee in the afternoon, and that fucking bitch just didn't bother to notice. I'm just
keep
kidding.
that in your back pocket when we get to our Keiko
Actually, I mean,
day.
We're having a Keiko day?
We're having a Keiko day.
We didn't give Esri Dax her own day, but we're doing Keiko?
Yes.
She's in less episodes than...
She's not.
She's only by season 4 or something, she's a guest star. She's only on
she's
like
also
twice a
in
season.
You're so flustered. You almost went into your Glick impression. It'll be in a few episodes.
Wait.
I haven't seen much Keiko this season. Did she go through some kind of contract change?
Did you want an Esri day?
No, but I
I didn't do an Esri day for you.
Oh, well, thanks. I just feel like if Esri didn't get... Listen, every dog gets their day, even Esri.
She's not a dog.
I
She's
know.
very cute.
No,
Although we are actually gonna...
She's not my style. That said, but like Keiko...
We are going to do Hoshi and Mayweather on the same day.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my
wrong
God, can you
on so
imagine
many fucking levels, dude.
Can you imagine trying to find your top and bottom 3
Mayweather
moments?
guys, all those fucking killer pranks he's always pulling.
Oh my
Am I
God,
right?
it would be impossible.
And
There's
that time we thought he was dead, but he wasn't. What a fucking magician! You know, when that happened on Earth, we called that man the Messiah. So I'm just saying.
Oh,
God.
wow.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Holy shit.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh God, I killed Chris. How we doing, buddy?
Chris has died. Oh dear.
Chris, are you alright though? Seriously?
I'm frightened.
I am too. He is turning shades of red and making sounds.
The timing. Okay. Who is next week, by the way?
Next week we're going to be looking at Nog.
Oh,
Oh.
God, poor
Oh.
sweet Nog.
That will be a lovely day.
It
Oh, it's
will.
gonna be awful.
Yeah.
It could be 2 things.
I know. No, I know.
How awful it will be will depend upon how bad the Enterprise is beforehand.
Well, yeah, I mean, no matter what, it's going to be the better part of the episode because it's
So
not about
next week
Enterprise.
we have Similitude
Ooh.
and Carpenter Street.
Also, ooh.
So look forward to that.
Sniff some feet on Carpenter Street. I don't know. Why not?
Fair enough.
What do you want from me? I don't know.
Fair
Get your
enough.
kicks on Route 66.
Sure.
I'm thinking of
Okay.
Baker Street.
Mm.
But on Trip's harmonica. you
Oh,
see.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah,
have
the
it anymore.
harmonica
He
trade.
traded it.
He gave it to
Oh,
that
no,
For that
horseman.
hoss.
He's got like a fucking crate of them.
I was
in
gonna,
his-
yeah, no shit, they're not worth anything. Mostly that guy was like, what the fuck is this? It's probably made of plastic. He's like,
Anyway, as always, follow us on Facebook and your favorite podcasting application.
how are you going to try to close this out? Ames didn't even try a musical number. Do you have any musical numbers you want to insert here?
What? No.
I musical, then they musical
I don't
together?
musical.
Okay, she's got nothing. Go ahead, Chris.
Rate us on your favorite podcasting application. Follow the Tumblr, sshgbpodcast.com, where you can see all the bliggity blogs. I don't know why I did that.
Wickedy wild.
yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, there we go. It was perfect. Wild West reference. It was on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Totally beautifully thought out.
North Star.
There we go. This has been Chris.
This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This is always Sheriff Jake.
Yeehaw.
Oh no, you've been shot.
Oh God, I'm in pain now.
Bring out my girls. Said Big RuPaul energy.
Oh, okay. I've been told that frequently.